Last month, I filmed a vlog style what's for dinner video where I took you through our evening meals during our very first full week of school. This video is a similar idea. I'm gonna take you through what we're having for dinner Monday to Friday, vlog style, but the theme this time is sort of a getting out of a dinner rut. We certainly have our favorites and our frequent flyers on the dinner menu around here, and also some things that we like that are just really easy to throw together. But this week, I just wanted to try a few new things, or maybe go back to some old favorites we hadn't had in a long time. Just change it up a little bit. Tonight, I am making a new to us recipe. It's this Alfredo chicken breast recipe that I found in this church cookbook. And I was actually inspired to flip through this by my friend Jen over at Cook, Clean, and Repeat, because she's been doing a lot of Southern Church recipes from Southern Church cookbooks that she has on hand. And a lot of times these are contributed by members of the church. Just lots of different dinner recipes, bread recipes, cakes, pies, cookies. There's a lot of really good stuff in here. I mean, I could definitely find lots of inspiration, but I happened upon this one and I have all the ingredients for it, save for Romano cheese. I'll just substitute Parmesan cheese. But the first thing I'm going to do is prep my chicken breasts. I have 3 or 4 of them, but I'm going to put them in a Ziploc bag and pound them just a little bit to make them the same thickness before we do the breading. On the stove, I have 2 tablespoons of butter that are heating up with 2 tablespoons of oil, and now I'm going to prepare the chicken to brown. In my 3 bowls here, I have half a cup of flour, 3 eggs with about 2 tablespoons of water beaten, and then a breadcrumb mixture that I made with 1 cup of breadcrumbs, about 1/3 of a cup of grated Parmesan cheese, a teaspoon of antinonos, you could use salt and garlic powder, and then about a tablespoon of dried parsley. So I will dredge the chicken in the flour, then I will dip it in the egg mixture, and then I will coat it with breadcrumbs. And then I will put it into the skillet with the butter and the oil, and I will let it brown on each side for probably about 3 to 4 minutes or so, maybe 5 minutes. I'll check the directions and let you know. And then I will put it into this 9x13 baking dish. I don't need to cook the chicken all the way in the skillet because we're going to put it in the oven. I'm making a few adjustments to this based on what I have. For one thing, I don't think I have as much chicken as it calls for, because this calls for 3 whole chicken breasts split and boned. It also calls for a 1/4 cup of parsley snipped, so I assume they're using fresh parsley. And the directions I just thought were kind of odd because it says to put the eggs, water, and cheese and parsley together. Normally these dry ingredients would go together with the breadcrumb mixture, so that's what I did. And it also calls for using a 12 by 7.5 inch pan. I've actually never heard of that size of pan. I have a 9x13, I have an 8x8, I have loaf pans, I have pie pans. Does anybody have that size of pan? I let my chicken pieces brown for about 3 minutes on each side, and I just removed them to my 9x13 dish, and I topped each one of them with a few slices of fresh mozzarella. And now I am just making the Alfredo sauce that's going to go over the top. Here on the stove, I have 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, 3 tablespoons of butter, and half a cup of water, and I am just stirring that over medium-low heat until the butter melts, and then I'm going to add about half a cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. I'm going to keep stirring it over medium to medium-low heat until all of the cheese is melted. This is the kind of thing you don't want to leave alone on the stove for very long because of all the dairy. It will scorch very easily. When the sauce is done, I'm going to pour it over the top of the chicken breasts and then pop those in the oven at 350 until they are done. And I'm just going to use a meat thermometer to check mine. I'm guessing because of the thickness of the chicken breasts that I'm using, it'll probably take anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes. I accidentally preheated the oven to 350 instead of 425 like in the directions. That seemed really high to me, but I did bump the temperature up just now to 425. They've been baking at 350 for about 10 minutes, so that may help them cook just a little bit quicker. The rice recipe that it suggests to make alongside looks really interesting. It has butter, onion, green peppers, Worcestershire sauce, water chestnuts. I thought was really interesting, and I actually like water chestnuts. They add a crunch to things, but I just thought that this was going to be so rich that I would go with just plain rice. And I have some minute rice that I like to use up, so that's what I'm going to serve alongside with it tonight. With the meal that I made on Monday night, I will say that it was delicious. I just had to troubleshoot a lot because I felt like the measurements and the directions were just a little bit wonky. So I will leave some suggestions in the description box below, like what I'm gonna do differently the next time I make it, because I will make it again. Everybody liked it. Ruthie took the leftovers in her lunch today, but I just feel like I need to make some adjustments. So I'll let you know what I'm gonna do next time. You can check it out below and maybe try that if you plan to make that dish. Tonight is one of those nights when the wheels of the mom van are spinning, and I am taking the kids to and from, hither and thither most of the evening, but I do have 1 hour, like a solid 1 hour chunk of time when I'm actually home for the whole hour, which gives me about 20 to 30 minutes to put dinner together and about 20 to 30 minutes to eat it before we have to go back out the door. So on those nights, I usually either have to throw something in the crock pot, which I did not do this morning, or I need a really quick, like a one pan meal, which is what we're going to do tonight. I am making this bacon ranch garlic parmesan pasta from the Salty Marshmallow. I will leave this recipe linked in the description box below, but it calls for a tablespoon each of butter and olive oil, some minced garlic, calls for bacon, and I'm gonna take a shortcut and use fully cooked bacon because I can just pop this into the microwave to crisp up, and then I can crumble it into pieces to add into the recipe later. It calls for chicken broth, which I'm gonna make from bouillon, milk, sour cream, Parmesan cheese, which I will shred, ranch seasoning. Again, I normally make this from scratch. I wasn't sure if I had any made up, so I went ahead and purchased a package today. And it calls for 8 ounces of spaghetti. I don't have quite enough spaghetti noodles, but I really didn't want to open up another package just for a couple of ounces, so I decided I would just use up the rest of this rotini pasta that I have hanging out. I have about 2 cloves of garlic minced, sauteing in a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of oil. And now I'm going to add my chicken broth and 1 1/4 cups of milk. Also gonna add some pepper. I'm gonna put just a dash of Auntie Nono's. There's a link in the description box if you wanna check out Auntie Nono's. And now I'm throwing in my pasta. By the way, I think I forgot to mention it was 2 cups of chicken broth that I used earlier, 1 1/4 cups of milk, and then 8 ounces of pasta. As I said before, I'm kind of using up some odds and ends here. You know how I am. I want to make sure this is completely submerged here in the liquids. I'm going to bring this to a boil and then reduce the heat to low and let it just simmer until the pasta is done cooking. It does not say that you have to cover it, so those are the directions that I'm going to follow. Okay, this is already smelling amazing, even though it's just basically butter, milk, and pasta. So now I'm going to stir in a tablespoon of ranch seasoning. I'm not going to use the whole packet. I'm just going to eyeball it like that. And a 1/4 cup of sour cream, which in my mind looks like that. 1/2 cup of grated parm and my crumbled bacon. Ooh, gotta save some for the picture. Just stir that in. Let these ingredients heat through with the pasta and it'll be ready. That's it. It's done. It's done. Oh, this smells so good. So good. Okay, this is fantastic. I've already tried it. So good and so easy, and I probably had this ready in 20 minutes, maybe even less. This might be a new weeknight frequent flyer for us. Yum. I mentioned at the beginning that I filmed this video vlog style, and a vlog is basically like a video diary. All of my videos on this channel are pretty laid back. I try to keep it really realistic and just relaxing, comfortable, just show you what's going on in my kitchen. I don't have a Pinterest perfect life, and I try not to present that here on YouTube, but I used to do a lot more vlogging, like day in the life vlogging, week in the life vlogging, what I eat in a day type videos. I even started a vlogging channel to sort of migrate that kind of content over to another place, and I just could not keep up with it. But if you like the vlog style videos, I wanted to encourage you to go and follow me over on Instagram. @CMindyMom is my Instagram handle, and I do a lot more, or I'm trying to do a lot more in my stories, do some more reels, you know, just some funny mom stuff, kind of chat with you throughout my day and maybe tell you a little bit about what's going on with our family, more so than I do in my videos. So if you like that style of content, please go and follow me over on Instagram @CMindyMom, and I'll see you there. On Wednesdays, we typically find ourselves at the church most of the afternoon and evening, and a lot of those Wednesdays we will eat dinner at the church. There is a meal, a home-cooked meal that is offered that we can purchase for ourselves and for our kids. But the menu this particular week wasn't something that I thought my kids would enjoy that much, and because I didn't want to waste food or money, I decided that I would just pick something up. So while I was in Walmart earlier in the day, I picked up a tray of crackers and cheese and pepperoni, and then I also picked up a veggie tray. And I went over to the discount bakery rack and found a little container of mini cookies, and we just had kind of a snack supper at the church. The four of us, my three kids and myself. My husband was somewhere else at a meeting, and that was Wednesday for us. It is Thursday, and I just arrived at the aquatic center to pick Brick up from practice, and then we are heading straight to the church for worship. Our church just started a Thursday night worship, and it's great for a lot of reasons. I mean, sometimes people need to leave town for the weekend, or maybe they work shift work, or maybe they work weekends. This weekend, my kids have a swim meet, and Ruthie can attend worship like normal on Sunday because she swims in the afternoons, but Brick swims in the morning. His age group swims in the mornings. So last year we weren't actually declaring for a lot of the morning swim sessions on Sundays because we didn't want to miss worship too much. So it's kind of nice that we have this option now so Brick can still swim on Sunday. But all that's to say, I had to throw something into the crock pot that would be ready when we got home because everybody would be really hungry. Ruthie will be home from practice a little later as she has somebody who brings her home on Thursdays. So I went ahead and threw some meatballs into the crock pot, and I just used like a tried and true recipe. I've actually not made it, but my mom makes it all the time. It's that 3-ingredient meatball recipe that has just frozen, fully cooked meatballs and barbecue sauce and grape jelly, which if you've never had it, I know that sounds crazy, but my kids love it. Every time my mom makes those at her house, they like gobble them up. And I also decided that I would make up a little rice, so I got out my Instant Pot Aura. It's a slow cooker. It's the Instant Pot brand slow cooker, and I'm using it as a rice cooker tonight. I put 2 cups of basmati rice into the insert with 1 can of beef broth and 1 can of French onion soup plus 1 can of water from the French onion soup can, and then 6 tablespoons of butter. And I decided that I would try the delay start function tonight, and hopefully it will be cooking right as we are leaving worship, and so it'll be ready like just about as we are walking in the door. That's the hope anyway, so we'll see what happens when we get home. Ooh, yummy!
Yummy, I like yummy.
Ooh, these smell good. Okay, now let's see if the rice cooked okay. Ooh, yeah, it just needs a stir because some of the onions from the French onion soup have settled up. I am just going to pop some veggies probably into the microwave, and we're gonna make our plates, and this is going to be a yummy dinner that cooked while we were out of the house. Yay!
All right, we're going to be coming to you from the dad cam this evening. It's Friday late afternoon, and Mindy is going to be at the church this evening. So Ruthie, what are we cooking tonight? Give us the main dish.
Turkey sliders.
Turkey sliders. So we've got some supplies to pick up at the grocery store, so we're going to head on in. Let's go. Trying to find the best deal here. I'd say we did really quite well. We only walked away with a couple of splurges. We really obviously didn't need the lemonade, so that was a splurge. And obviously we could have gone with just 1 cheese, but we're gonna go with extra cheesy sliders. And we could have probably gotten away with just 1 thing of chips. But overall, I would say this was a success for shopping with Dad. We could have come home with a lot more. We got a delicious kid-friendly dinner tonight. Miss McKenna, this is her gotcha day, specially requested the turkey sliders. What else do we got there, guys?
Grapes.
Apples, chips,
Got some and some sliders.
What a deal.
yeah.
All right, we got some homemade brownies from Miss Ruthie with a little bit of vanilla ice cream. Yummy, yummy. Oh, we're going for some sprinkles here.
Some spinkies. We need spinkies.
Thank you so much for watching. For some more dinner ideas, pick out one of these videos to watch next, and I'll see you there.